It begins in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, January 31st, 2000. A routine flight. Nothing unusual. Alaska Airlines Flight 261, bound for Seattle. 88 people on board. Passengers, crew, families. None of them know what's coming. The plane is a McDonnell Douglas MD-83. 8 years old. Well-traveled. Over 26,000 flight hours logged. A stop in San Francisco was planned first. Then on to Seattle-Tacoma. A normal Monday. A normal route. That normalcy would not last. Captain Ted Thompson is at the controls. First Officer Bill Tansky beside him. Experienced pilots. Thousands of flight hours. The aircraft climbs smoothly over the Pacific. Autopilot engaged. Systems nominal. Below them, only dark water for miles. For now, everything is calm. Somewhere behind the cockpit door, a mechanism nobody thinks about is failing. A jackscrew, a nut, a thread of metal, buried in the tail of the aircraft. It controls the plane's pitch. Up and down, climb and descend. It has been wearing down for years. 2 hours into the flight, it happens. The horizontal stabilizer stops responding. A warning light. A strange vibration. The autopilot can no longer trim the aircraft. Thompson and Tansky exchange a glance. Something in the tail has jammed. They don't yet know how serious it is. They radio Alaska Airlines maintenance control, describing the fault, asking for guidance. On the ground, dispatchers scramble for answers. This isn't a documented failure. Not exactly. The crew begins running checklists. Calm voices. Trained hands. No panic yet. But the clock has already started. For nearly an hour, the crew works the problem. Following procedures. Testing systems. They divert toward Los Angeles, just in case. A precaution. A sensible decision. Air traffic control clears their path. The plane holds steady. For now, nobody on the ground grasps the danger. What the pilots don't know yet is that the part failing behind them has been failing for years. Not from one bad flight. From a slow, quiet neglect. A problem written into maintenance records. A problem someone already tried to stop. Rewind to 1997. Oakland, California. A mechanic named John Liotine inspects the jackscrew on this exact plane. He finds excessive wear. Real concern. He recommends it be replaced immediately. It's a costly repair. A grounding delay. His recommendation is overruled. Liotine isn't the only one worried. He later tells federal investigators that supervisors signed off on work that was never actually completed. He starts recording conversations in secret. Federal agents raid Alaska Airlines records. The warnings are there, just ignored. Here is the quiet root of the disaster. Alaska Airlines extended its lubrication schedule, extended the inspection intervals too. The manufacturer recommended checks every 7,200 flight hours. Alaska stretched that to over 9,000. The FAA approved the change. Grease is what keeps the jackscrew turning. Without it, metal grinds against metal. Slowly, invisibly, for thousands of hours. The grease fitting on this jackscrew was later found clogged with dry residue. No lubrication reaching where it mattered. A slow countdown nobody was watching. The jackscrew and its nut share threads. Two independent systems. A built-in safeguard. But years of wear stripped them down. Thread by thread. Flight by flight. By January 2000, there was almost nothing left. No backup. No fail-safe in the design. Just metal, worn past its limit. At altitude, the threads finally gave way. The screws separated from the nut entirely. The horizontal stabilizer jammed at a steep angle. The plane began pointing its nose down. This wasn't a warning anymore. This was catastrophic failure in progress, and the crew was flying blind to it. The aircraft suddenly pitches downward. Thompson and Tansky fight the controls. They manage to level it out, briefly. Passengers feel the terrifying drop. The crew declares an emergency. Air traffic control clears them for Los Angeles. Every second now matters. For a short while, it seems controllable. The pilots find a way to compensate. Voices on the radio stay steady. They discuss a plan to land safely. Investigators later called their skill remarkable, but the jackscrew damage was already fatal. The plane was not going to hold. Then the aircraft rolls, inverted. The nose drops into a violent dive. Thompson can be heard on the recorder. staying focused even in the final seconds. The crew tries everything they know. Nothing can stop what's already broken. The descent becomes unrecoverable. At 4:21 p.m. Pacific Time, Flight 261 strikes the Pacific Ocean, near Anacapa Island, off the California coast. All 88 people aboard are killed. Investigators later called the pilots heroes. For buying time no one thought possible. It wasn't enough to save the flight. For a moment, the ocean looks untouched. No trace on the surface. No sound. 40 miles northwest of Los Angeles. The wreckage now rests on the seafloor. Coast Guard vessels are already racing there. Searchlights begin scanning the water. The families are still waiting for news. Debris eventually surfaces. Scattered. Small. Investigators mark a debris field, the size of a football field, underwater. Recovery teams begin the grim task of retrieving what they can. It will take days, then weeks. Each piece a clue to what happened. Dozens of boats work the crash site. Divers descend into cold, dark water. Visibility is poor. The debris scattered wide. Every fragment matters to investigators now. Personal items surface. Luggage. Photographs. 46 victims are identified within days. The recovery effort is slow, careful, exhausting. On shore, families gather at Port Hueneme, waiting, grieving, demanding answers. Alaska Airlines CEO calls the crew heroes, praising their fight to save the aircraft. But questions are already forming. How did a Jackscrew fail this badly? Who knew? And when did they know it? Weeks later, the Jackscrew is recovered. Investigators can barely believe what they see. The threads are almost completely gone. Metal ground down to nearly nothing. The screw had separated from the nut. This single component doomed the flight. Now it becomes the center of everything. Inspectors check other MD-80 aircraft worldwide. Within 2 weeks, 21 planes showed dangerous Jackscrew wear of their own. 9 are grounded immediately. The scale of the problem becomes clear. This wasn't one broken part. It was a fleet-wide warning ignored. The NTSB begins piecing the aircraft together, fragment by fragment, in a hangar. They study maintenance logs, inspection records. They interview mechanics, including John Liotine. His 1997 warning is now impossible to ignore. He had asked for this part replaced. He had been overruled. Investigators find deeper failures too. The FAA had approved Alaska's extended intervals. Oversight had been thin for years. A later report says regulators should have caught these problems long before the crash. This wasn't just one airline's mistake. It was a system that failed everyone. In 2002, the NTSB releases its final report. The cause: loss of pitch control from failure of the Jackscrew assembly, caused by insufficient lubrication over years. 16 new safety recommendations follow. Airworthiness directives ground unsafe aircraft. Maintenance rules across the industry change. Alaska Airlines and Boeing accept responsibility. Nearly all lawsuits settle by 2004. No criminal charges are ever filed. John Liotine eventually settles his own case, far short of what he originally sought. The regulations shift. The warnings finally matter. But 88 lives were already gone. Today, a sundial memorial stands at Port Hueneme. Every January 31st, at 4:22 p.m., its shadow falls across the victims' names. In Seattle, a small park was built too. Rachel's Playground, named for a child lost. Quiet places, built from unbearable grief. Reminders that this was never abstract. Flight 261 changed how planes are maintained. Stricter inspection intervals. Better oversight. Investigators call it a lesson written in loss. 88 names, permanently tied to reform. The ocean off Anacapa Island looks calm now. But beneath the surface, history remains. A warning the industry finally had to hear.